there, welcome back to DocGirlRambles. It's Dr. Bree and I am back. So it's been a while since I posted a video. I actually recorded this video already, but it was in between me starting my job. It was in between me getting my license and starting my job. So how I was talking was very vague and rambly. But I wanted to share a little bit about how the job market was different from applying for internship and postdocs. But the general gist is that I was making a more long-term decision, so I was considering my own needs and wants, which included being closer to family. It included like me being able to look beyond 1 to 2 years, where I really could see myself potentially like sticking around long-term. The job process itself seemed pretty similar, like the application, but the interviews were very different. So I figured I'd just provide a little bit of insight there, especially since now that I'm in my job, I'm on the other side, I'm now doing some of the interviewing. So it's a little different. So the other video will probably never see the light of day, but it's fine, we'll move on. If you saw a video I posted at the beginning of my fellowship, you probably saw that I was planning to stay for 2 years. Part of that is because I was tired of moving. The other part is just kind of that's been kind of established as the standard within my postdoc. It wasn't a requirement, it was just kind of expected. And I was gonna stay, but then I started seeing jobs pop up that I was really interested in. What was I looking for? I was looking for a job that combined assessment, intervention, consultation. I was looking for something that was closer to family. So for me, that's like at minimum, it's on the East Coast, and like to be more specific, it's like mid-Atlantic and south. At this point, hopefully you know that I'm in North Carolina. I have a lot of family in North Carolina on both sides of my family. My dad lives in North Carolina, my mom lives in Georgia, so not as close, but a lot closer than where I was before. So that was really important for me to find a job where I could be close to family, at least driving distance. I was also really interested in having opportunities to train and supervise. So I'm in a position, I'm hired through the university, through the medical school. So I do some like didactic teaching for med students and residents. And then I work with residents and fellows like in my clinical work. But then there's a doctoral program at the university that students need practicum experiences. So I've got a little bit of both, and the doctoral program is a pediatric school psych program, so I can still kind of have my toes in like the school psych world a little bit, because that is my background, my training. The jobs that I applied for were mostly included assessment, mostly included like early childhood. Consultation was hit or miss. Some positions had consultation liaison, some didn't. Some jobs were only CL. And I chose the job I'm specifically in is because it has all of it. I'd say the only thing I don't specifically have is, like I don't have a therapy caseload, so I don't have standing intervention work that I do, but the CL work where I'm seeing families and kids in the hospital kind of takes care of that itch, you could say. But the job process was I started seeing jobs pop up on listservs and job boards around November. I think the first job I applied to was early November, and then I started hearing back interviews like late November, December into January. And the process for those was I would write a cover letter, which was not significantly different from postdoc cover letters, but it was more narrowed in, here's what I've been trained to do, here's what I do, here's what I can provide to you, and less of the, here's what I hope to learn from you. I am learning things from my position, but at that point I'm not looking for training, I'm looking for opportunities and to provide myself as an asset to blah, blah, blah. So it was more focused. I felt like those cover letters were not significantly shorter, but not as long, because I didn't feel like I was selling myself in the same way. Some positions required like reference forms where they would just fill out some stuff. Others required letters of recommendation, so that was different between each position. And I think that was it. Updated CV, blah, blah. You either email it in or do it in some kind of portal. And then the process was pretty similar for each one. There was usually someone would reach out, whether it was like the recruiter or the whoever the contact person is for that position would reach out and do like a screening interview. They would make sure it's a good fit, make sure you actually understand what the job is, and they can provide some more information. So that was usually virtual. And then if that went well, I was invited on site for an interview. Those interviews were either 1 or 2 days, depending on the position, but it was usually meeting with other psychologists in the team. If it was working in like a multidisciplinary setting, it was meeting with different people from it, so not all psychologists. Some of them were psychiatry, some were other medical specialties, other administrative people, things like that. And then it was the waiting to hear back. For the position that I'm in, I heard back. I had a verbal offer before I had it in writing, and it took a while, specifically for this position, because I'm a state employee in North Carolina, and that is a very, very long process. So I actually took the advice of a mentor, and I was transparent with my current position, and I said, hey, I know you said that you are interested in me, but I'm still out here because I don't have it on paper. So I was still interviewing other places, and I was also transparent with those places to say like, hey, like I'm further along in the process. Okay, ran out of space for a second. What was I saying? I don't even know. Oh, I was transparent with everyone. I was like, hey, I was very clear that I wanted this position, the one I'm in, but I was also like, I'm not going to just assume this will all come together. I'm still out here. And then when I finally got the formal offer, it felt like a huge relief. And the thing that I think is really challenging about finding a job is that they don't have deadlines in the same way that internship and postdoc are. They're not looking to. They are looking for people to come in as soon as possible. They know that if you're coming out of training, you won't be able to come until after that's done. But unlike internship, where they're like, okay, and you must be here for July 1st. Like, it's not like that. Because then after I got my offer and I accepted it and I'd signed all the papers, then we had to do credentialing. And then I already did the video on licensing. That was a whole mess. Licensing everywhere is just slow. And I was supposed to start in September of 2025. I started late. I was supposed to start the first week of September. I started like the second to last week of October. And even by then, I still didn't have my license. My position was flexible enough to accommodate basically bringing me on in an administrative role until I got licensed. I started that Monday in an administrative role, so no clinical direct patient service, and that Thursday I had my license. But then you have to go through the credentialing process with the university. It's a whole thing. But I would say those are the major differences, is that it's kind of just like the Wild West of whatever it is. Are you interested in this job? Oh, okay, we're going to take our time because we're interviewing other people. These people maybe applied before you, they may be applied after, and we're just trying to make sure we get everyone. So there were some positions I withdrew from because there was like this breakdown in communication. Other ones, I realized that the position isn't what I wanted. Some I didn't get. And I didn't really apply for that many jobs, to be honest. I think that's the other thing, is like, you can apply to a lot of positions, but you don't have to. It's not like internship where you have to apply to 15 places, and then postdoc is even fewer places. And then jobs are truly, what are you interested in? What do you want to do? And I chose this position because I get to do all the things I wanted. So I split my time about half between psychiatry, who hired me, and pediatrics. Through psychiatry, I do inpatient CO work. I do that about 2 days a week. And then on the ped side, I do autism evaluations, and I work in the NICU follow-up clinic. So there's my assessment in two different groups. I have autism assessment, I have developmental assessment in the NICU. And then the CL part is the consultation and the intervention. And then both kind of within that, I also consult in the NICU. So not to children because they are baby childs, but to the parents, the caregivers who are there to kind of support them through the NICU stay, especially if it is long. So I'm doing all the things that I'm interested in doing, and because I'm 4 months into the role, I'm still kind of growing and figuring out what works best for my schedule. I've done a little bit of teaching, some didactic seminars. I'm in talks to bring on a student for a practicum placement next year, so it's been good. The process was, it felt very long because no one can really give you specifics about how long does it take to apply for a job and then to hear back. It varies. All I can say is it takes a long time. And if you're a state employee, it takes even longer. So that's all I'll say about that. But as I'm wearing my scrubs because on NICU follow-up day, I wear scrubs. So, because like I'm a member of the team and I don't feel like wearing regular clothes. So yeah. That's the difference between the applying for like postdoc and then applying for a job. I will also in a different video share about how the transition has been going from being a trainee to being independent. It is an adjustment, but it's a good one. So I will share that with you in a different video. Thanks for being patient with me. Bye.